Hi! How are you?
Good morning, good afternoon or good evening, depends when are you watching this video. Today we are gonna talk about books.
Yes. And we thought about like going outside because it was pretty warm in the morning. Right now it's not, but
it's sunny, so like this we can enjoy a bit the sunshine. We are gonna talk about 3 books, so Hannah's gonna talk about her favorite English 3 books, and I'm gonna talk about my favorite ones also.
yes.
So get ready because we are starting in 3, 2, 1, go!
Okay, now coming to the 3 books I would recommend for you to read. The first one not being a singular book, but more so like the whole series of it. It is the series of Commissario Brunetti, and it was written by Donna Leon. And she was born in the US, but nowadays she's also, like, she has the US and the Swiss. She's a US citizen and also the Swiss citizen. And the whole books nowadays is over 30, I think, and I only read like a few of them, but all of them are like following the Commissario Brunetti through his daily work life. He gets always, of course, like very interesting murder cases, and you just follow him through his work. And it's, of course, like a detective series, but at the same time it's very funny written, like, but not funny in a stupid way, but more so it's just like hilarious and it's really nice to read. And I read the books both in German and one of them also in English, and I can recommend both the German and the English versions. It's very easy to understand, but still you feel like you read something very nice and very classy, so it's like a really good book to start with.
So the first book that I want to share with you, it's called The Girl on the Train. It's written by Paula Hawkins, and it was written in 2015. It's one of my favorite books. It's about one girl that she's on her 30s, and she doesn't have like the most common life. As a girl on her 30s, all her friends are like pregnant and starting a new family, and she's doing other things. And every day she's taking the train to go to her work, and she's all the time watching through the window. In one of these trips, she saw a couple through the window, and then she's like getting very obsessed with the relationship that this couple is having. So then all the story is about this couple and about her obsession with them. And then I cannot tell you more about it, but at that point the story is like getting very, very interested. And I think that it's this kind of book that it's perfect if you want to read in English, because the vocabulary is pretty easy, and also there's like some plot twists that get you really in the story, and for me it's like one of the best books, as I said, so you should read it.
So my second recommendation is called The Alchemist. I think a lot of you already know it. It was written by a Brazilian, and his name is Paulo Coelho, I think. Blau is nodding her head, so maybe I pronounce it right, or like similar. And he first published the book in 1988, and it's really just about like learning how to live the right life, I would say. So not to think too much about everything, but more so enjoy the moment and also like know what you have and love what you have. And that's, I think, like a very nice message to like get from a book. And the story is more or less simple but also complex. So it's about a shepherd who is looking for a certain treasure, and he dreamed of this specific treasure, and because of this he travels from Andalusia to Egypt and is trying to find this treasure. And on his way he meets the alchemist and learns a lot of life lessons from him, so it's like very nice.
The second recommendation, it's not that interesting, I would say, as the first one, but it's also one of my favorite books. I feel that it's very famous in all countries. Maybe you know it. You know the book. It's called Sophie's World. It was written by a Norwegian author, and it was written in 1991, and it was very famous. But nowadays it's still very famous. I read it 4 years ago, and it's about one teenager girl that she's living in Norway, and someone is introducing her to the history of philosophy. And so if you are really interested in philosophy and history in general, I think that it's a book that maybe it can be interesting for you. Also, as the one that I said before, the vocabulary is pretty easy. So for the people that we don't have a high level of English, it's good because you can understand everything. You can learn important things about life, and you can also disconnect about the reality and about our daily life. So this is my second recommendation.
Okay, and for our last recommendation, we had to change places because there were some people and we wanted to go away for not filming anyone. So my last recommendation is by an Irish author, and her name is Sharon Owens, and she has written this book called The Tea House of Mulberry Street. I only read it in German and I really enjoyed it, but I had to look up the name, so I was reading it. And it's about this one cafe on Mulberry Street, and there's just a lot of people who are very unhappy in their life situation right now, and unknowingly they help each other with transforming their life to a better one. And all of them get they look for the happiness, and in some part of the book they will also find it. And what is really interesting about this book is that normally I don't really enjoy it when the story is split into different perspectives, but this one is split into, I don't know, 5 or 7 different people and their perspective, but in the end it's very nice to read, and you can get really into their minds and what they think about the world and their situation right now. So, a recommendation.
So, my third recommendation is a book that I read last year. It's called Normal People. It's written by Sally Rooney. Also, the vocabulary is pretty good, and the grammar, the English grammar and everything is pretty easy to understand. It's about 2 teenagers, so one boy and one girl. They come from different social classes, and they have really different standards and ways of thinking, but at the same time they connect in a very straight way. It's very interesting how they build their relationship, and it's not really that you have to be, it's not like a teenager story, something like that, even though they are teenagers. I think that everyone can really relate on them and what some of the things that are happening to them. And I would say that it's a really, I would really recommend it to you, and it can be really interesting. I really like it in 2 days because I get really into it. So if you read it, let me know, and I hope you enjoy it.
So, I hope you can take something away from the little book lesson and the recommendations, and you can let us know, of course, if you know, if you already have read one of the books or a few of them, and if not, if you enjoy them. And otherwise you can go to Blau's bookshop.
It's going to be here in Totem. We are going to do a reading club. We are going to read some short English stories, and then we are going to talk about what we have read. So you can check all the information in the Rose Sneak, And if you have any doubts, don't hesitate to contact me. I think that all of you have my email, but as always, we will always put them in the end of the video. And if you have also some good recommendations, some good recommendations for us, we'll be happy to hear about, because Hannah and I, we really like to read, so it would be nice to hear your advices.
And then enjoy the sunny days.
Yeah.
And
see you next month. Bye bye.